Welcome to our new Star Wars saga, Legacy of Shadows, featuring Darth Malgus and the ex-Jedi Kalia on the rebellious planet Kell Doran. Dive into their epic battles, uncover ancient secrets, and witness a showdown that could alter the galaxy's fate. Don't miss out on this thrilling adventure. Hit that subscribe button and join us for more Star Wars stories. Share your thoughts in the comments and may the Force be with you. Chapter 1. Shadows. Over Kell Doran. The air of Kell Doran carried the scent of rain and rust, the latter a reminder of the ongoing struggle against not just the Empire, but the planet's own decaying infrastructure, remnants of a more prosperous time. The sky, a tapestry of dark clouds, seemed to mirror the mood of its inhabitants, stormy and resolute. Darth Malgus stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Vindicator, gazing down at the swirling gray clouds of Kell Doran. His presence was formidable, his armor catching the dim light of the bridge as if absorbing it, his scarred visage more a mask of his convictions than mere flesh. The dark side of the Force pulsed around him, an aura palpable to any who dared near. "Prepare the landing parties," he commanded, his voice a deep rumble resonating through the cold metal of the ship. "And bring me the latest reports on the rebels' movements." As his subordinates hastened to obey, Malgus's thoughts lingered on the forthcoming battle. Kell Doran was a strategic nightmare, its cities built amidst ancient ruins that stretched like the bones of a long-dead beast across the landscape. It was here that Kalia, the rebel leader and ex-Jedi, had chosen to make her stand. A wise choice, Malgus noted, for someone who knew how to use the terrain to their advantage. Below, in the heart of Kell Doran, Kalia surveyed the hastily erected defenses around the city of Telnath. Her eyes, a sharp contrast against her soft, green Mirialan skin, scanned the horizon. Each line on her face and body was a testament to her battles, marked during the rites of her people and during the skirmishes that had come to define her life after the Jedi. Her second-in-command, a grizzled Twi'lek named Reth, approached, his leku twitching in apprehension. "They're coming," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "It won't be long now." Kalia nodded, her gaze never wavering from the horizon. "Let them come. We are ready." Back on the Vindicator, as the Imperial forces prepared to disembark, Malgus pondered the stubbornness of the rebels. It was a quality he could respect, even admire, had it not been directed against him and the Empire. Chapter 2. The Gathering Storm. The city of Telnath, with its towering Durasteel fortifications and scattered ancient stone structures, buzzed with an energy born of both urgency and fear. Inside the main command center, a structure pieced together from salvaged starship hulls and reinforced with local stone, Kalia organized her forces with a calm authority that belied the gravity of their situation. Reth, having just returned from scouting the outskirts, relayed the disquieting news of the Imperial fleet's positioning. "They've encircled us from the north and east. I've seen artillery placements. Malgus isn't holding back." Kalia's expression hardened. "Then we won't either. Prepare the ion cannons. We'll need to neutralize their tech if we're to have any advantage." Around them, the diverse faces of the rebellion, humans, Bothans, Sulistans, and more, moved with purpose. Each individual carried the weight of their shared cause, their differences in species and past allegiances melding into a singular determined force. Meanwhile, Darth Malgus observed the deployment of his ground troops from his command ship. His lieutenant, a sharply efficient Sith named Varen, questioned their strategy. "My lord, the rebels are entrenched. Assaulting the city directly could result in substantial losses." Malgus's response was measured, his tone as cold as the void of space. "Then we shall make the city come to us. Begin the siege, cut off their supplies, and bombard them until they have no choice but to emerge." Back on Kell Doran, Kalia met with her Council of War, a group that included former military officers, defected Imperial pilots, and alien tacticians. Together they pored over holograms of the city and its surroundings, plotting points of defense and potential counterattacks. "Kalia," spoke a grizzled human ex-Imperial officer named Harn. "We've rigged the old mines to the south with explosives. If they try to push through there, we can take out a battalion." "Good," she replied, marking the location on the map. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But we must be prepared for all possibilities." As preparations continued, the first shells from Imperial artillery began to fall, their impacts a dull roar that soon became the backdrop to every strategy session. Despite this, Kalaya's leadership never wavered, her resolve becoming a beacon for her people. At the same time, Malgus walked the decks of his ship, the force flowing through him, reaching out to sense the morale of his soldiers. They were ready, hungry for the battle, their spirits bolstered by the presence of a Sith Lord of his renown. Yet Malgus felt the faint echo of something else. Doubt. Not in their mission, but in the path he had chosen. He pushed these thoughts aside. Now was not the time for reflection. Now was the time for war. Chapter 3. The Duel of Ideals. As the siege of Tel Nath wore on, the once vibrant skies of Kell Doran turned ashen, clouded by the debris and smoke of constant conflict. The city's defenses, though robust, began showing signs of wear under the relentless Imperial bombardment. Inside the command center, Kalia and her council faced the grim reality. They would not survive a prolonged siege without significant losses. Kalia, her features set in a mask of determination, addressed her council. "We can't let this drag on. We need to break the siege, even if it means taking the battle to them." Harn, his face weathered from years of warfare, nodded in agreement. "It's a risk, but waiting here will only end one way. Better to go out fighting on our terms." Plans were quickly drawn up for a daring nighttime assault. Kalia's forces would use the cover of darkness to disrupt the Imperial artillery positions, buying time and creating confusion among the enemy ranks. Meanwhile, Darth Malgus sensed the shift in the force, a subtle but unmistakable sign of impending action. He convened with Varen, his trusted lieutenant. "They will not wait for us to crush them. Prepare for an assault, and inform the troops. I will lead the counterattack personally." The night of the assault, Kalia led her mixed team of rebels, each member cloaked in shadows, moving silently towards the Imperial lines. The air was tense, charged with the anticipation of the conflict to come. The first sign of battle came with the sudden flare of blaster fire as Kalia's forces engaged the Imperial sentries. Explosions lit up the night as carefully placed charges blew up key artillery units. The rebels moved swiftly, exploiting the chaos they had created. Darth Malgus, clad in his imposing armor, strode onto the battlefield, his lightsaber igniting with a hiss, casting a sinister red glow. His presence rallied the Imperial troops, who quickly began to regroup and counterattack under his command. The battle raged fiercely, blaster fire crisscrossing the ruined landscape, illuminating the ancient stones and casting eerie shadows. Amidst this chaos, Malgus and Kalia finally confronted each other, their previous encounters having been nothing more than fleeting moments in larger battles. Kalia, wielding a lightsaber of vibrant blue, stood ready. "This ends now, Malgus," she declared, her voice resonant with the Force. Malgus responded not with words, but with a powerful surge forward, his lightsaber swinging in deadly arcs. The duel was intense, both combatants expertly wielding the Force, their blades clashing with sparks and energy. As they fought, Malgus spoke, his voice calm despite the exertion. "You fight well, Kalia, but you fight for a lost cause. Join me, and together we can bring order to the galaxy." Kalia parried a particularly vicious strike, replying breathlessly, "Your order is oppression. I fight for freedom. For everyone." The duel continued, neither gaining a clear advantage, until a sudden explosion nearby sent them both tumbling. Seizing the moment, Kalia used her Force abilities to push Malgus back, giving her forces time to retreat and regroup. As dawn broke, both sides, battered and bruised, withdrew. Malgus, though frustrated, admired Kalia's tenacity and skill. Kalia, meanwhile, regrouped with her forces, knowing this was only a temporary reprieve. Chapter 4. The Echoes. Awaken. In the aftermath of the duel and the nocturnal assault, both sides licked their wounds and reassessed their strategies. Kalia's bold move had given the rebels a fleeting upper hand, but the cost was heavy and the advantage temporary. The rebels' resources dwindled, the strain of maintaining a prolonged defense manifesting in frayed nerves and dwindling supplies. Darth Malgus, on the other hand, faced a different challenge. His forces remained powerful and his resolve unshaken, but the growing admiration for Kalia's courage and tactical genius among his own ranks troubled him. It was a crack in the Imperial armor he could not afford. As he meditated in his quarters, the dark side of the Force whispered of ancient powers hidden on Kell Doran, secrets buried in the ruins that could tip the balance of the conflict. Driven by these visions, Malgus decided to lead a small team into the depths of the ruins himself, seeking whatever advantage they might conceal. Meanwhile, Kalia convened with her council once more, their faces grim yet determined. "We can't hold out much longer like this," she admitted to them. "We need a breakthrough." Her eyes fell on an ancient map of Kell Doran, the lines and contours of which hinted at long-forgotten subterranean chambers beneath the ruins. Legends spoke of an ancient civilization on Kell Doran, one that had harnessed the energies of the Force in ways neither the Jedi nor the Sith fully understood. "It's a long shot," she said, tracing the map with a slender finger. "But there might be something down there that can help us." Back in the ruins, Malgus and his team uncovered an entrance to a subterranean chamber, its doors sealed with mechanisms that responded only to the Force. As Malgus focused, the doors trembled and then parted, revealing a corridor shrouded in darkness. Inside, the air was thick with the power of the Force. The walls were lined with inscriptions and glowing glyphs, hinting at knowledge and power long lost to time. Malgus moved forward, each step resonating with dark energy that seemed eager to whisper its secrets. Simultaneously, Kalia led a small, trusted team into another section of the underground labyrinth. Their path was fraught with traps and decayed structures, but also filled with an energy that felt strangely welcoming, as if guiding them. As both leaders delved deeper into the mysteries of the ruins, their paths converged. In a vast chamber illuminated by an ethereal light, they stumbled upon each other, their previous battle still fresh in their minds. Between them lay an artifact, pulsing with power, a crystalline structure that seemed to hum with both light and darkness. Malgus reached out towards the artifact, drawn by its promise of power. "This could end the war," he murmured, his voice echoing off the ancient stone. Kalia's hand went to her lightsaber, but she hesitated. "Or it could destroy us all," she countered, feeling the raw energy emanating from the crystal. Their standoff was interrupted by a sudden rumble as the chamber began to collapse around them, the disturbance perhaps triggered by their tampering with the artifact. They made a silent, mutual decision to retreat, the potential of the artifact's power too great to risk in a crumbling tomb. Chapter 5. The Unleashing. The tremors beneath Kell Doran had ceased, but the aftershocks resonated through the hearts of all who sensed the disturbance. In the wake of their narrow escape from the collapsing ruins, both Darth Malgus and Kalia knew that the discovery of the artifact had irreversibly altered the course of their conflict. Each retreated to ponder the monumental power they had glimpsed. Malgus, back aboard the Vindicator, convened with his closest advisors. The artifact, now secured in the ship's vault, pulsed like a heart of darkness, its power undeniable. "This is the key to our victory," Malgus asserted, his eyes reflecting a flicker of the artifact's eerie glow. "But it must be wielded wisely, or not at all." Meanwhile, Kalia gathered her most trusted leaders, her expression somber yet resolute. "The Empire possesses something that could end us," she disclosed, "but it could also destroy them. We need a plan, not just to survive, but to ensure that this power doesn't consume us all." As both leaders prepared for what could be the final confrontation, The artifact's influence began to manifest in unexpected ways. Malgus found himself haunted by visions of ancient Sith Lords, warning him of hubris and the peril of untamed power. Kalia, too, experienced visions, ghosts of the Force-sensitive civilization that had once thrived on Kell Doran, pleading with her to protect their legacy from corruption. The final battle was inevitable. Malgus, harnessing the dark energies of the artifact, launched a devastating assault on Tel Nath, his forces invigorated and seemingly indomitable. Kalia rallied her people, their spirits bolstered by the belief that they were fighting not just for their freedom, but for the soul of the galaxy. As the battle raged, the skies above Kell Doran crackled with unnatural energy. The artifact, now fully activated, began to affect the very fabric of reality around it, distorting time and space, threatening to tear the planet apart. Realizing the cataclysmic potential of the artifact's power, Malgus and Kalia found themselves once again facing each other amidst the chaos of war. Around them, the ground split and the air shimmered with energy. "We must stop this, Malgus," Kalia shouted over the roar of the collapsing world. "Help me contain it!" Malgus, seeing the destruction his ambition had wrought, nodded grimly. Together they approached the artifact, channeling their combined powers into taming the wild energy. The task was Herculean, demanding every ounce of their strength and will. As they worked, the energy surged, a torrent that threatened to overwhelm them. But slowly, the chaos began to subside, the energy dissipating into the air like mist in the morning sun. Exhausted, Malgus and Kalia collapsed, the artifact between them cracked and inert. The battle ceased as both rebels and Imperials watched in awe. The threat was over, but the landscape of Kell Doran was forever changed. Scars of the battle and the artifact's energy etched into its surface. In the aftermath, Kalia took up the mantle of leader not just of her people, but of a new coalition, dedicated to ensuring that such power would never again threaten the galaxy. Malgus, changed by the events, disappeared into the unknown regions of space, his fate a mystery, but his legacy a cautionary tale of ambition and restraint.